Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien here on the morning of Saturday, March 23rd, 2024. Well, it's the start of the second half of the NCAA tournament, or March Madness, as you call it around here. And how many more upsets before we get to the Sweet 16 tomorrow night? Today is a somber, and hopefully you guys listen to this video and pass it on to your fellow humans. I want to do this because of the Princess of Wales, Catherine, and the way you guys are treating her over there. You humans, and I mean everyone, doesn't understand the meaning of the word life. Whether you are a Joe Blow, a high blow, a doctor, especially doctors, ministers, government officials, and the Joe Blow on the street do not understand the word life. Here on Sol, in the Sol system on Earth, you guys have got a system similar to what we have. I come from a star that you call Kepler 160. My planet's a fourth one in the system, and it's comparable to your Earth. Our star is comparable to your Sun, but we only get around 92.5% of your sunlight because our star is a little smaller than the Sun. About the same size, about the same hot, but it's not as, how would you say, as destructive as your Sol star is here. I mean, that's a very destructive star that you have here, radiation-wise and ultraviolet-wise and everything. It destroys. Solar flares, you guys get more than we do. And yeah, it can destroy your planet, nothing flat, and it has a few times destroyed your planet to the term of extinction. But life here, humans, especially Americans. I'm speaking to the Americans because I've been here since 50 years, and you guys view life with a strange view. You have a very short lifespan here on Earth because of all the other issues that you have, and your bodies deteriorate as soon as they come out of the womb. You guys are on the way to dead. The death clock is signaling, yeah. So you guys got between, if everything goes okay, you have between 60 and 90. Most of you die between 60 and 90 as what you call it, natural causes. A few of you live to be 80s and 90s, and a few still live to be over 100. And then you got some that die younger. In the old days, because of all the ailments that you had, that you didn't have any conditions to cure them, you died early, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Some survived, even in the old times, like Queen Elizabeth I that survived to be 70, or even before her, 2 millennia before her, you had King or Pharaoh Ramesses II of Egypt that lived to be, 90 something, because he was 70 years on the throne, just like Queen Elizabeth II here. Queen Elizabeth I, 70 years. Queen Elizabeth II, 96. Well, and you guys here on this planet haven't got the term life. Here in America, if you turn 65, you get kicked out of your work Although now, because of the situations coming in, they're allowing you to work when you're getting Social Security. You can get a certain amount of work. Or you could work to age 70. Yeah. But still, they don't venerate old people here. You just throw you to pasture. And like in the case of the Princess of Wales, where she's now got cancer, whatever type it is, and whatever she's getting done for it, you don't have the option here. Because with all the stuff that's going on with your star and your planet, because you're polluting it like the hell out of it, you are making your lifespan even shorter than it should be. But you're not giving the people the benefit of, okay, when does life in an existence begin? A lot of us, including me, are existing. Life is the enjoyment of what you can. But when you can't enjoy life per se, and everybody puts you in a place of a senior living or assisted living or senior living that you stand there, get your meals done and everything done for you, and you still can go out, yeah. But that's existing, people. That's not living. Because you rely on somebody else to take care of you. If you like that, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with existing. But if you like life and you don't like existing, and you say, my time has been over, what do you do about it? Oh, but that's killing yourself. No, it's not. It's saying, my life is over. I'm existing. Do I want to exist? If you do, that's okay. If you don't, you should have the right to not exist. Because existing, I can tell you by experience, it's a terrible feeling. Okay? And getting back to the people that have ailments. There's a lot of Joe Blows here that nobody remembers. My daughter and my wife are a good example of that. My wife was born to very comfortable adopted parents who adopted her when she was 4 years old. She lived a pretty good, affluent life per American standards. And did a lot of things that most people her age could not afford to do. But then she got diabetes at age 50. And trying to deal with that in the 80s or the 90s and early 2000s. And you know how it was. Diabetes doctors, what doctor would say, oh, you don't need this junk. Speaking of medications that the doctor before would have, and this is actual quotes from the doctors, okay? I didn't say a thing because I was just a husband trying to be there for my wife, and I didn't want to upset her with other stuff. But I was a little upset at those doctors that did that. Then in 2015, at age 71, she got a heart attack. Mind you, that was February 2015. In December 2014, she went for a full physical with her cardiologist, who determined that her heart was in great condition. Nothing was wrong with it. In February, when they found that she had a heart attack, they had to do 2 stents with blockages of 90% on 2 arteries. And it had caused heart damage. And her refraction rate was down to 50%. from 65. Still okay, but, you had to worry about that. So they treated her for the heart attack 3 days later, or 5 days later, they discharged her. 4 days later, she went back in with heart failure. That part pissed me off, but I couldn't say a thing because I had no idea what the hell was going on at the time, 2015. But I made it a point of making sure I familiarize myself with your level of technology on heart conditions. See, we don't have that on my planet because we outgrew that millennia ago. We can live up to 350 to 400 years of your years, okay? Whereas you can only live maybe 65 to 70. Some people live to be 80, some 90, and few 100. My wife was 71, and her refraction rate went down from 50 to 30%. So they had to put her on this life vest. If those of you who have wore that know what it is, you understand. That made my wife, her life just ended when she had that life vest, because every 12 hours you had to change the battery. And it would go bing, 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 bing. Oh boy, you should have heard that thing. That was a excruciating sound. And my poor wife didn't like sounds. I tried the best to be there, but not knowing what was going on. But I got myself, within 3 months, I knew exactly what the hell was going on, so I could deal with the doctors on a one-to-one basis. I made it my point to understand and comprehend what the hell was going on here. I had my own heart issues in 2016. Which put a lot of pressure on my wife. But then in, July of 2015, they finally took out, from March to July, she had to wear that life vest. They finally put a pacemaker / defibrillator on her in July of 2015. And every 3 months, she had to go get checked out for numbers to be determined for kidneys and other things, because they were worried about them. Diabetes, blood count, and everything. Every 3 months. And that really infuriated my wife, because she couldn't do anything. I mean, she was an up and going girl, and her strength was gone. She still drove, but she would come back and say, we have to go home. I have to sit down. I don't feel good. I'm exhausted. And some days she was exhausted, so I would start doing everything. And I did. I started doing everything. From 2016 to 2019, she had her days. And sometimes she went to the hospital with AFib and heart failure symptoms, because she would have fluid in her heart that they had to get out and all kinds of stuff. So she was hospitalized a lot. But the doctors, they all took a attitude. Up until this one doctor in Georgia, who was a great cardiologist. I mean, he would be there, instead of taking the usual 5 minutes to talk to you and see ya, he would spend hours with us. And he didn't have to do it. He was a great doctor in Marietta, Georgia. And he did for my wife. I can't express my gratitude to him. Other cardiologists that came before and after him, because my wife got so sick doing the COVID shutdown that happened in 2020 that she lost the remainder of her life to it. By the time they opened everything up in 2021, my wife was a disaster. She was getting ketoacidosis and all kinds of stuff associated with heart failure and was in the hospital every other month. I had to call my stepson to come and get us from Georgia to Florida because she wanted to go to Florida. Finally, I got her to go to Florida, which wasn't exactly a good idea, but at least she could see her kids. But her kids didn't know how to handle it, especially her daughter Katie, poor girl. She didn't know how to handle it. Losing her dad 20 years before, and now she's going to lose her mother. Well, my stepson came up and he did a great job. I mean, we had a lot of stuff we had to get rid of because my wife loves stuff. But we did, brought her to Florida in June of 2021, and she passed away in September. "30 years of marriage gone down the drain." But my son found out what it is to be a partner. Up to that point, he was married to his wife for 20 years. And she had to go to the hospital a few times, and he would just leave her there. But I hope now he understands what it is to be a husband. But when I had to pull the plug on my wife, he wanted to do it. I said, "No, I'll do it. It's easier for me, the husband, than you, the son, to do this." And I hope my wife is in a better place today than she was in the last 7.5 years before 2021. Because those were existing years. Those weren't living for her. Those were painful, excruciating years that she had to deal with. And all because you're looking at life expectancy and the continuation of life, which is actually continuation of existence. In my planet, they have what you would call here, translated from our language to yours, would be resolution. You pick a year, like say for instance, your year that they pick here for you, 65. Okay, you gotta retire at 65. You're getting too expensive for us to cover on your medical insurance, and you're getting to be a liability instead of a plus for us as far as our business is concerned, because you guys are concerned about profit. So yeah, but us, a lot of people have an age. In our case, it would be 120 of your years is what they consider a resolution date. That's the first time you can actually apply for resolution. Some people do because they don't like their life, for whatever reason it is. Others do because they have illnesses that our medical technology can't cure, and they don't want to live as existing under medication after medication, just existing, extending your lifespan, which is existing, because you can't do anything with it. You get, like here in your planet, like in America here, you get thrown into people that can care for you, some of them doing good, a lot of them doing bad, because they don't like to care for old people. Can you imagine? You got to go after a person when he has messed himself up, or you got to give them a shower, got to put them to bed, cut their meal for them. Really? Do you understand me, humans, especially Americans? You got to understand what life is, and you haven't even got to that point yet. Until you do, then you understand the difference between life and existence. Sure, you can extend your existence, but can you extend your life? Until you understand that, Americans, and I know a lot of you have done what I did, had to pull the plug on your loved one. And you have to get this notion of death. Death comes to everybody. Some life forms have a lifespan of 24 of your hours and less. Others are millions of your years. But they're not immortal. They're still mortal. Like in our case, the star that you call Kepler 160, with our planet, which you just found recently, it has a revolution of 370 plus days, 78 of your days. When we found the planet, after our ancestors blew themselves up in their home planet because of the stupidity that you guys are showing today. Except that they didn't have atomic power, they had antimatter technology, and they blew half their solar system with them. So we found the star that was almost the equivalent of that star 1,000 light years away. Closer to your Earth. So it's only 3,000 away. But the planet that we found, whoever had it before, it was so polluted it wasn't even funny. It took us centuries to get this planet back to normal. But we only decided to, like we did in our home planet, that every inch of land was covered. We decided not to do that with our other adopted planet, so we only occupied 25% of the space on the planet. We have other colonies, yes. And we have alliances with other civilizations, some of them humanoids, some of them not. But we've learned, both the humanoids and the other species, that no matter what you are, insectoid, reptilian, arboreal, whatever you are, you have the same things that you look for in life. You may do things different. Like you may not like the way an insect eats or does his life, but he's a fellow being with the same cares, the same stupid way of looking at things. Do we have 100% agreement? No. But we have 85%. And our federation has gone for 800 of your years and still going strong. And we got enemies that are as worse than your Chinese and Russians, worse than your Nazis. Like I told you, the ones that are going to eliminate you are, reptilians that are Nazis on steroids. You're going to love them. We've fought 3 massive wars with them. But we're not helping you because you guys are showing no inclination to help yourselves. This is your favorite alien saying, you must comprehend what life is. And then you can start working on your other issues. Good day.